Okay, so first of all, I'd like to start with the video by stating that this will not be a professionally edited video. This will not be a very structured video. This is just me rambling about Brawl Stars, which is a game that I have been a long-term player for. I've been playing since beta. Um, and I've only recently started dropping the game due to reasons that I will go into over in this video, and yeah, that's about it. I'll start from here. Hello, my name is Maroof, as you can see. Brawl Stars is one of my favorite games of all time, and I've played the game to a very competitive standard as opposed to many people. I love analyzing the game. I love getting into the nitty-gritty, all the balance stuff, all the meta, all the strategies and whatnot, like a lot of things. I like this stuff, strategy in this game. And the state of the game right now, I wouldn't really say it's the most positive. uh, it's more of a like the game isn't what it used to be. Yes, I'm not very upset about that. Like, okay, I am kind of upset, but I get where they're coming from. But I also want to criticize it because I've kind of dropped the game for a while, then came back. I dropped it because I felt like dedicated players haven't been getting enough stuff. I wanted to make this video back then, but I came back. I wanted to get a taste of how the game is like today, so I played up around over 100 games recently to get a feel like how is the game today. And I'd say so far it's been pretty good match-wise, but that's also one of the problems that I have. The game is not like it used to be. It feels very stale. Feels very not challenging anymore. A lot of the issues in the game stem from newer or less skilled players being pushed up to the top without, like, being good enough to be there. So and they never drop because it's impossible to drop out of places. So yeah. This started with trophies. The ladder, ladder started, slowly and slowly people climb up, obviously, but they've over the years, I don't have any examples of this to show you, but hold on. I can draw an example of this actually. Paint. Here. Over the years, let's say, hold on. This is our years, okay? Back in 2018 and whatnot, it was really hard to push trophies. And then they made it easier, but added resets. Reset. Okay, cool. We have resets now. Resets were really harsh, made people feel like they have to play every brawler and push them all back up because it took ages. So, they made it only your top 10 over the years. So it's only your top 10 brawlers that lose trophies. And across these years, while they were trying to make it less grindy, they made the trophy loss per reset extremely minimal per brawler. Like 24 at most. And at least one trophy. Which made staying at higher trophies really easy. And now that they made it only your top 10 brawlers, these top 10 brawlers are not going anywhere under. And every brawler under will slowly just go up and up and up. Because only the top 10 goes down. Everyone under them is just going up all the time. Which just puts you at this standstill where you're stuck at a high trophy count that you can't even drop out of even if you're not good enough. Because then... okay. Like, after the top 10, what made this even more potent is win streaks, which I think is a great addition to the game. But a lot of people just abused it through showdown camping to like, boost their trophies way high. You have the weirdest people now in higher trophies. Like, I swear to God, I'm playing at like 950. The enemy team is global ranking players. Like, I don't know, Typhon and his team with fucking. And then on my team, I have Dynagod 38 and Mortis Lover 111, who both only have those brawlers at Gold 3, have only started playing in 2023, and are somehow placed in my match, even though they're 1,000 trophies total. That's on the matchmaker and on trophy inflation, which makes the game really unplayable for dedicated players higher up when they're on their own. Team matchmaking does not count here. I'm talking about the solo experience for 3v3. One more issue that I want to add on to this is the map rotation that they've been sticking with. I'd say Gem Grab is the least offensive one, because like if I'm counting the Gem Grab maps, the only maps that I would say are bad is probably Bear Trap and Ahead of the Curve, which is only 2 maps. They're newer maps, by the way. I know Sneaky Sneak is new as well, but these 2 are way worse compared to the others. But even then, since these maps are so old, people just figured out what to play now, and it's always like, I'm not sure if it was as bad as it is today, because back then, higher up in trophies, you'd face unique comps. Like, yeah, there was a dominant meta comp, but it wasn't every game or every other game. You'd see comps like, I don't know, you see Undermine, you have comps like Carl, Spike, Jean, That's not something conventional, but it's homemade, and it's pretty good. But now you only see like, it's not even comps being run, it's just broken brawlers being mixed together. Like Chester, Meg, and I don't know, Mo or Byron or something. That's all you see now in maps. It's only combinations of broken brawlers rather than compositions that flow well together. And I think that's making these maps a lot less fun to play. Some of these maps. There are maps which don't stand for that, like Hard Rock Mine, Minecart Madness. I think those are classics that stood the test of time. And that's good. We need maps like that. But yeah, it's a pretty stale rotation as well. We have 12 map rotation with like 10 of them being old maps. Okay, 9 of them being old maps. And then the 3 ones aren't like the greatest, and it's just such an odd number. It like 12 maps. Come on. Then you have Heist. Okay, well, now that I'm here, I won't even just talk about the maps. I'll talk about the meta and whatnot in those modes and their current state, in my opinion. Gem Grab has always had the fair share of, bad players, because it's the default mode, 3v3, whatever. But it is a well-balanced mode. I think this is probably the most stable 3v3 mode that we have right now. And I hope it just stays that way. That's like Gem Grab. I love you, Gem Grab. Please do not change. As for Heist, it's on the complete other end of the spectrum. Heist is so bad right now, and I don't think you need anyone like insane at the game to tell you this stuff. Like, it's we have like, Heist is a control mode, right? There are maps that of course still force control, like Safe Zone. Probably the best Heist map right now is Safe Zone. But then every other map just screams base racing, which is disgusting. Like, it feels like Supercell has completely neglected Heist and what it has become, especially with every brawler that they release becoming more and more of an issue on the mode. It's just such a disgrace as what it used to be. Yes, there was base racing, but it wasn't the main thing, the main way to play the mode. Right now, there's so much damage creep and mobility creep in the game to the point that, like, if you don't defend for a second, you lose half of your safe sometimes. Why? Because they have like a Crow hypercharge or a Melody or a Mo now. You know, stuff like that. It's just ridiculous that stuff like that even makes it. And don't even get me started on the maps. Kaboom Canyon I like, but again, the meta makes it horrendous to play. Safe Zone is the good map over here, in my opinion. Hot Potato is just tank spam, just spamming throwers, tanks, tanks. Just base race every game. Because of the walls, you can get to the safe very quickly. Bridge Too Far is, again, base race simulator. First team to make it through a lane just typically wins because comebacks are impossible on this map. Diamond Dome, same as Hot Potato. So many walls, so many bushes, just promoting base racing. Secret and Mystery, same thing, just base race. And again, it has the same issue with the odd number of maps in rotation. I don't know why you have 6 maps. The 12 map rotation just does not work. It feels so weird to have. Yeah, I don't know what they can do with Heist. Even buffing the safe HP isn't gonna be enough. Like, you have to just reduce the damage. Like, I don't know. There's too much damage and speed going around in the game right now. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, it's just horrible for Heist. And okay, this is an interesting one. Bounty's here, but Bounty isn't in ladder for whatever reason. A couple updates ago, which is around a year ago, they tried completely replacing Bounty with Wipeout, which was the dumbest decision that they've ever done, because Bounty is just better Wipeout. But then they just decided to do that for ladder. Ladder is just stuck with a shittier Bounty now. Why is that the case? I'm not sure. Like, what? Why do you Wipeout was voted in for one season, and they just randomly kept it in the game forever. And that's a thing that they've been doing, right? They just ask the community for something, and then they just randomly do whatever they want. And it just feels so out of touch, because Wipeout and Bounty have similar play rates, because it's basically the same idea. And Bounty only gets played in ranked. So having similar play rates to Wipeout, even though it's ranked, okay, like, ugh. It's just... Ugh. What's the goal? Wipeout is not better than Bounty. It's just Bounty with more draws and no comebacks. I don't know, man. Kill Wipeout. Just kill Wipeout. Brawl. The children's favorite. Oh my god, this mode is so bad. And I'm willing to say that with 100%. Okay, yes. Hypercharges bring more mobility, yes? But that's the problem. Like I said before, this game has mobility creep. That is one of the biggest issues that this game has. So many brawlers are so fast. They travel across the map instantly. Like, how are you supposed to work around that? If a brawler just zooms past you, like, I don't know, a Jackie in Sneaky Fields, she just pops a gadget and a hypercharge and she's instantly at your goal, and you lose because you can't stop at a 15,000 health brawler that's going that fast. It's stuff like this that makes Brawl Ball so cheesy. And the maps aren't even helping that. All the maps, like, there's only one long-range map. Every other map is a close-ranged map. Brawl Ball is forced into a tank fest that whoever races to the goal first wins. Yes, you can defend that, but then that ends up being stale as fuck because both teams are defending, and then when one team slips up once, you just hypercharge and go across the map and you win because you cannot be killed because damage resistance and speed. Dude, mobility creep, I'm telling you. Like, it's not even the mode's fault. I think it's just rotation and brawlers. Just, I'll get into it later. Actually, let me bring this closer. I will talk about that list soon after this. Actually, I'll talk about it right now. I've been talking about creep, mobility creep, power creep, whatever. It all comes down to designs, brawler designs, in my opinion. And if we do look at the brawler designs that we have, I think you should be aiming to have all your brawlers at good enough or as close as it can be to perfection in these tiers. Decent is acceptable. Unclear or bad design choices is like asking for change. And then horrendous needs a complete overhaul, in my opinion. Like, it's just a base kit horrible design right now. Like, you have let's see the perfection, in my opinion. Those are all brawlers that I would call honest, and like, they have their clear weaknesses and they have their clear strengths, and they're honest to play. Like 8-bit, you have insane damage, you have insane range, you have insane health at the cost of being the slowest brawler in the game. Gus, you have insane survivability at the cost of, like, insane survivability and range at the cost of not dealing the most damage. Stu, you have insane survivability at the cost of, and rushdown at the cost of having low damage. Nani, you're a glass cannon. You deal so much damage, but you also can barely take damage yourself. Mortis, okay, as of recent, I would bump him down a couple tiers. But if I'm looking at the design itself, it's pretty good. Like, you know, picking your fights, picking when to go in, wasting ammo, all that stuff. Gene, classic brawler. Everyone likes Gene. He's bad against heals, he's bad against tanks, but his poke is very potent. His support for his teammates is really good. You know, stuff like this. Max, I think Max is like the second best design in the game after Stu. You know, not having the longest range, having a hard shot to hit, having moderate health, and a really strong super. You know, it's a very high risk, but if you're good at the brawler, you are like gonna have so much fun. And that's what I'm looking for. Gray, hard shots to hit, but like so much playmaking with the super, the pole, all that. Miko, same thing, really high skill ceiling. I know he may seem cheap to some, but like there's a lot that goes on when you're playing Miko, stuff like that, you know. That's what makes designs good, like having a lot going on while also feeling like a complete brawler. Like, all these brawlers feel complete. Now let's go to the other side of the list, you know, the horrendous tier. You have brawlers like Dynamite, which feels shit to play against, and feels like shit to play, because unless you're hitting every shot, you're completely useless. Jackie, you have no skill to work on. You literally just walk straight forward. Your attack is a set thing that is just where you're standing. There's no skill expression in it. And she's horrible to face. Frank, overtuned stats that are not served by fun. Edgar, I should make a whole video about Edgar. Gale, horrible main attack that feels horrible to use and to play against. Barry, always dumbed down to being a heal bot that is just trying so hard to, you know, be like Barley in the way he plays, but he's just a heal bot. Mr. P basically gets one super a game and then never has to think about it ever again, which doesn't offer many dynamics. Doug is Doug. Chuck only works in one mode, which is horrible for any brawler. Melody is just such a flop. She has a cool idea, but then the execution is horrible. I feel like if you want her to be viable, you have to either reduce her mobility and make her tankier, or make her deal more damage. Lily, they ruined her. I feel like Clancy is. I don't even know where to go with this guy. I'm just Meg. They fucking made Meg one of the worst brawlers to use and face. Surge has always been a horrible design in my opinion. Snowball characters always are when they're all or nothing. Kit is the epitome of a shitty design. And then Draco's super is very numb-minded. I feel like it's just unfun to use. Well, now I ask you to look. How many of the newer brawlers, or the recently meta ones, are in the horrendous designs? Am I putting them in horrendous designs because they're meta? No. Am I putting them there because of their, dominance? No. I'm putting them there based on what they're trying to achieve. Like the ones under them some of them are good, yet I didn't put them alongside them. Why? I think Carl has potential, but then I have no idea what they're trying to do with him. Same with Bo, same with Grom. Bonnie feels like she's all over the place. Lola feels like she doesn't have a super. Maisie feels like she needs a better main attack. Hank feels like his main attack is horrible to use and his super is filler. Larry and Laurie, I don't understand their main attack. Byron, you don't understand if he's a support or a DPS. Eve doesn't have a super. Janet is just very out of place in the game. Like, okay, Jesus. Water. Epic. Okay, yeah, that's what I've been talking about. Most of the newer brawlers have been pretty shitty in design, in my opinion. I think if I were to place Mo, he would be in horrendous. Okay, not horrendous. No, he would be in unclear, because I don't understand some things with his kit. Like, why does his main attack split like that? It feels very weird. And then why does he have more health in small form? And why does his drill go so fast? Stuff like that. It's just, what are you trying to accomplish with him? Is he supposed to be stronger in the rat form or the drill form? You know, stuff like that. Kenji, I'd put in as close as he can be to perfection so far. But those are assumptions, so that's what I'm saying, right? Mo falls under that as well. Having excess mobility or a bloated stat. Because they've been doing this thing where they've been prioritizing the newer players, the newer player experience. Hold on. They've been prioritizing newer players because most of their players are, new players. Frank has tweeted about this recently. He said 50% of Brawl's players, like current players, are like new installs. Hold on, where is it? Okay, here it is. Yeah, more than 50% of our players playing Brawl Stars today started this year. We need to ensure that new player experience stays good. They shifted their focus from the dedicated player base to the newer players. He even says it here. I think they've been doing this more by implementing events that are limited, like limited time events, manipulating some rewards or balances in order to increase, player rate towards certain things, rather than, addressing some of the concerns that dedicated players have. Like an example of this is the tick buff here. Okay, yeah, not just tick. You have a tick buff, a Terra buff, like a tick. Okay, yes, tick. I think tick is the main okay, I almost said it. Tick is the main suspect here. Why would you buff tick? Right? Tick was already really good. Like, you didn't need to buff him. But then they did. Why did they do that? There is no other explanation other than wanting to sell the skin more. Like, there's no other explanation. Like, zero. Then you have the Daryl buff. Yes, Daryl did need a buff, but why did they do it now, except instead of earlier? Again, they want to sell the skin. And that's a thing I've noticed. With their newer model, they've been focusing on the now. We want, like, to profit off this event now as much as we can. And it feels very disingenuous and kind of disrespectful, I'm gonna be honest. This tick buff, the more I think about it, like, buffing for a skin to get more players to play the brawler and to buy the skin more, that's fucking disgusting. Like, they're constantly just putting, like, even early access brawlers typically tend to be even stronger than other brawlers, and by a large margin. They want to sell more things, and it's disgusting that they're doing this at all. And I'm surprised no one's calling them out on this, but because they're doing well statistically, right? Oh my god, newer players. But could this be related to older players just not having fun anymore? I don't know if it's just me, but limited events are not content. They're not. You're just passing along, just hoping the game maintains itself by, drip feeding your player base and, capitalizing off fear of missing out. It's just disgusting. I don't know why they get away with stuff like this. Brawl has been on this spiral for the past year, and again, no content creator is talking about this at all. The only problem I see people talking about, like, oh, dedicated players are upset only because they don't have anything to grind towards, which is true, by the way, but it's not the only reason. Yes, ranked is a dog shit system. I'm sure no one would disagree with me. Everyone, like, maybe except the people who just didn't enjoy Power League, thinks ranked is fucking dog shit. Being masters doesn't mean anything. It's very unrewarding, very grindy, very, unsatisfactory, very cheesy. They're trying to just maintain the newer player retention. They don't care about the dedicated players. And no, I will not have any discussion with anyone about it, because no, they don't. They don't care about you. They only care about money here. And I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt for multiple patches. I've been trying to do that for the past year. But no, the more we go on, the more I see from them, the more I realize this is not the game. This is not a game that they're working on. They have a great game that they're just milking right now. Clash Royale fell into the same cycle before, and look at where the game is now. It's probably in its worst state yet, and people think the devs are so tone deaf, and it's just very upsetting to see that Brawl is slowly slipping into that, and I'm willing to argue with anyone that would say otherwise, because I don't want to hate the game. I am complaining because I love this game, and I think it's being mishandled. Is it because I'm not having fun? Not just that. I just don't like what I see. And I don't think many people do either. I don't want this game to die. I want this game to be as good as it can be. But the more you look into it, the designs have been horrible. The events ran have been horrible. Communication has been horrible. It's just very upsetting to see this game fall down this rabbit hole. And I sure do hope we don't end up in a Clash Royale situation. Yeah, and that's about it. Goodbye.